Good day, panelists. I'm so excited to be moderating this. You all look fantastic, and I can't wait to hear what you have to say to us today. Okay, so for our first question, this is for you, Mr. Dike. What is the single biggest misconception about royalties and merchandising in the creative industry today?
Probably just an unawareness, not being aware of the possibilities of creating income streams from this thing. So most young creatives simply mine their core talent and don't think of these secondary, tertiary ways of generating revenue. So I would say the lack of awareness as opposed to a misconception. There's just very low awareness.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. I'll come back to you on that question, but we can move quickly to you, Mr. Ndubisi. When should an artist, a musician, a writer, a creative basically, start thinking about licensing and royalties? Is it ever too early? What do we need to do?
Hello? All right. So I don't think there's any specific time that you need to start that. The moment you begin to create and you have a knowledge of what you are creating, that is the time you begin to think about licensing, begin to think about copyright, begin to think about how to significantly tell whoever is consuming your product that this belongs to you. Because we know that if you put it out there without a trace back to you, there's a chance that you can't claim it. So at the point you are creating, whatever you are creating, as you are thinking about creating it, depending on the consumption channel, begin to think about how to keep your copyrights to yourself. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. From what you said, I just want to ask, why is it important that we start thinking about royalties? Why is it important that at the very beginning of, creating work, you're already thinking about, we're talking about streams of income, the end. Why is this important?
All right, so I'll give an example. A living witness. We know Mike Ejaya. We know that. And then we know that there was a time the popular song, which Bobo Bongo was out there, and people were saying that Brent is all right.
Brain
Jota made money out of it. 2 years before that, I was with him in Enugu and was doing a project, and I asked him, how has his practice been? Because I saw that he was a legend and people don't know about him. And since I've sat down here, he has cried like 3 times. Why? Because of Sony Record. Took everything from him.
Wow.
So when people were saying, oh, Brain Jota made money out of it, I already know there was no possibility. Almost every music he created was given away to Sony Records. I was just speaking to the lead pastor, and I told him, what you're doing is amazing. And DK just said it, knowledge. Knowledge is power. The more you are aware of the possibility in this sector, the more you know what is there out there. So there's Copyright Commission in Nigeria. So you can take your art to them, and they give you copyright and they patent it. So it is a battle that most people will lose if you try to go to court, because we know that it's a long time. You might not even stay alive to even finish it. So just avoid the hustle, because if you're a creative person, every day going to court is not what you want to be doing with the rest of your with creativity. Like I talked about Mike Ejaya. I mean, it's a very sad story, because he will, before finishing the story, he will cry. Like he will literally cry as of I think it was 90, he died at 90 something, yeah. But you can imagine him crying. I think this year he just died. He just passed. So save yourself this. Go to older creatives, ask them how this journey, what can I learn? I'm about to become this. What are the things that I can know before I even start? I remember just a minute ago, the lead pastor called DK Uncle, and he literally denied it. I mean, yeah, he's been in the sector. So one of the things you want to be doing, trying, error, he will just save you the energy.
Wow.
Just a section, a mentorship time with him. I know we all want to get there like, look, it's true, but there are a few things that I say to people, the mother of all knowledge is experience. There are things in the book, but there are things that the experience can only give you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir, for highlighting the importance of mentorship for creatives. You're here today. We've been begging you to network. Look at the greats. Network with them today. Okay. So my next question is for you, Mr. Chuka. I would like to know what you believe the impact of platforms like TikTok, Spotify have on royalties in Nigeria today.
More platforms means more possible income streams. You know, I was talking when I was giving my keynote that, I grew up in an era where there were only few ways of making money. People are talking about getting paid from putting their music on platforms. Meanwhile, you paid to put your music on radio. Back then, people were rejecting your music if you didn't pay them. People were running payola, as it were. Now, you have these platforms. We have the restrictions as well. Because whether we like it or not, because of how Nigeria is structured, let's put it that way. Let's not go into politics. The way Nigeria is, there are so many things that we should earn that we're still not able to, because we see how the West have almost ostracized Nigeria in terms of your ability to, make the money you're supposed to make in certain ways. And you can't really blame them, because they can't do that if we didn't give them the leverage to, if we didn't have the situations that allows them to. You make money in other countries, like South Africa, for example. You see that they have about, give or take, about 60 million people in South Africa, right? But Nigeria has 200 plus million people. South Africa makes more, Netflix makes more money from South Africa than from Nigeria. Wow. When you look at those dynamics, you see that we have issues that we need to sort out. Now, when you understand that even the way you structure your expectations change. If you're trying to get money from, let's say, a Spotify, if you're a musician, you understand that it's not the Nigerian streams that might make you valuable income, but it's Nigeria that you can flow from to get valuable income from outside. And I'll explain what I mean. If you are subscribing to Spotify today, it's about 1,000 naira, right? That's less than $1. Other countries, some people are paying up to $10 for their subscription. So when money is going to be disbursed to those who are streaming, who are being streamed in that country, the money will be more, obviously, right? So when you have those understandings of how these dynamics work, it helps you make better decisions. Who should I appeal to? Who is my actual audience? When I make content, when I see my return from the month, right? Am I angry? I put all this effort in. This is how much I made. If 500,000 people, were paying attention, or were streaming your content, or were playing your content from Nigeria, you get a certain amount of money. If half that number was doing it from outside, you probably get far more. So just put those things into consideration, because they determine, your ability to make money. And be happy, because before, you wouldn't have been able to extrapolate that kind of value from other parts of the world. Now you can get both, right? So understand each platform, understand how their payment structure works, and understand what you need to do to get the most out of it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chuka. Very well said. I have nothing to add to that. So the next question is for you, Mr. Oladotun. There are common mistakes that creatives make while protecting their work. So many mistakes, the industry is still, well, I won't say novel per se, but structure around it is still a bit shaky. What can creatives do to avoid these challenges and these mistakes that are so common?
Thank you. Thank you for the question. Before I go into that, I want to comment on when should the protection begin. And he mentioned something that is very important. Knowledge is what makes the difference.
Absolutely.
As it happens, though, most creatives do not get to realize that they have become creatives until they have actually done 1, 2, or 3 things. Okay. You understand me? You don't get to a day when you say, okay, I want to become creative. In fact, you may have become a creative without even realizing. So what I want to say is that we will be safer if we make the knowledge about the value of creativity a knowledge that every Nigerian must have.
Okay.
So that you get to know that this thing I'm creating has some value. It also has value at the other end, which is if you want to use somebody's work. Because the barrister yesterday said something very important. The person who is dangerous to your intellectual property may not even be an enemy. It may be your friend who will say, no be DK make them, I feel use them now. Mm-hmm. You understand me? It may be a member of your family who says, are they US? I want to help DK now. Give authority for somebody to use DK's work, because DK is a cousin that he can just call and say, oh boy, I don't do something for you, and he expects DK to be happy. Mm-hmm. Whereas what he has just done was to throw away value that belongs to DK. So I think that's a good starting point. Make this knowledge general. Now, some of the mistakes that we make include not seeking the right profession, the right protection. 2, not seeking the right collaborators, the kind of people like the lawyers, then accountants and others like that. And then, like she also mentioned yesterday, not knowing how to monitor what is happening with our work. I had mentioned something that happened to me yesterday. And it was an absolute chance search on the internet that even made me aware of something that had been going wrong for as much as 25 years. I just would not have known. It didn't occur to me to search. You understand? But I think more importantly, when these things happen, we need to build the kind of structures that will enable creatives to seek where to go. He has mentioned NCC, the Copyright Commission. For those whose creativity is not directly in art, they may need Ministry of Industry, for example. These are things, civilization from my study actually becomes higher when that which is kept secret at one level is thrown in the public space. The more of knowledge that gets into public space is what determines whether one civilization will be superior to the other. And I think in this respect, we need to move a lot that concerns the creatives into the public sector. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Oladotun. Very well put. We need to think about the work that creatives do as assets. We need to put structure around it. We need to find the right people to collaborate with. Thank you very much, sir, for that. Okay. Mr. Chuka, back to you again. How can creatives use merchandising to create long-term revenue streams? We've spoken so much about the work, getting the skill, being consistent, but money matters. You know, we like to downplay it a little bit and say, work for free, do a lot of pro bono work. That's okay. But how can they, make this into actually long-term sustainable wealth for themselves?
Okay, so the first thing I would say is, what is merchandising? You know, that word merch is almost like a catchphrase now.
Mm-hmm.
But think about it. If you created merch, 9 out of 10 times it's the same thing that people create. T-shirts, right? Power bank. How many can you have? Shoes. Okay. So every time when people talk about merch, unfortunately, you see that it's like the same set of things. So how are you creative if merch is the same set of things? So that's the first problem. How many of you will wear your own merch if you are not the one that owns the merch? Like, let's say there are 100 creatives here, and 100 of you have merch. And in that 100 merch sets you guys have, there are 100 hoodies. And you're in Abuja that's usually hot. So if you are lucky, like when I came it was raining, today is cool. If you are lucky and you have a long period, I wear your merch. If I got 100 hoodies from different people who made merch, I might wear them once a year. How many of you buy stuff that you want to wear once a year? So the answer is to rethink merch. The first thing about merchandise is that it usually spawns from existing equity and integrity of a brand. The brand can be a person, the brand can be a product. That's where it comes from. So when people are going for merch, it's usually stuff that belongs to someone they have high regard for and would pay to have their merch. If not, the merch is free. And that's why you keep seeing free merch everywhere, free merch, free merch. If it's free merch, you paid to put it in somebody's hand, so you lost money to make merch. So I would not say that merch is the way to go. I would say the way to go is to build something that is so powerful that people would pay to have. If not, you're going to be making free stuff. And then you're not making money. You're giving out stuff for stuff that you paid to create. So you're just entrenching the problem that you were talking about. So how do we change this merch discussion? All right. If you're going to do merch, it will be worth selling. Create what they cannot get for free. Create what they will pay even when there is the alternative that they got for free. If not, you will make mistakes so many creatives make. We live in our heads. That's our biggest mistake as creatives. We live in our imaginations. It's supposed to be a beautiful thing. But the world, the real world and what we think are two different places. So because it looks beautiful and it looks great, does not mean someone's going to pay for it because we think it looks great. So take your mind away and say, oh, this is what I need to do. This is what I need to be going to. This is the one merch, as we use that word, that I would create that nobody else has the equivalent of. It's not a hoodie. It's not a power bank. It's not a t-shirt. It's not a wristband. It's not the things that we usually think of when we think of merch. But more importantly, create a brand. Create something that becomes so powerful that a byproduct of it is that there are clothing and other accessories that people want to get because they identify with this thing and they're really willing to pay for it. So please get out. I beg you, let's just chill on the merch mentality for now, and let's look at the things people really would go the extra mile to pay for, and that should be the first point. Thank you.
Yes, sir. I'll give you a chance to speak, but I have a follow-up question for Mr. Chuka. You've spoken about rethinking how merch is seen. It's not just bags, shoes, and all of that. Can you give us practical examples? Would you say that, for example, a Hilda Basi that uses her brand name, her likeness to create My Food by Hilda, or a Diary of a Ninja Girl who has skincare as Dang, or a Rihanna with her Fenty Beauty and Beyonce with Sacred, would you say that these things are... Can you just give us a practical example so that the creatives are not just looking theoretically and they know what we mean by it?
You kind of answered the question yourself. Because let's say people you name, Hilda Basi, a name. Now people pay money to have her hold sessions to cook. Then they buy her rice because there is a name. You call Beyonce Sacred because Beyonce is a name. Also know that because you're a name doesn't even mean you necessarily succeed. Beyonce has failed massively in some of her endorsement deals. Like I think it was Adidas that she was doing for. It didn't take off. And it was not the first time. But when she went into something that fits, because Beyonce is beauty in terms of how people look at it, that's what she pushes, right? So now it was product that was actually about the skin beauty. Nobody looks at Beyonce and thinks style icon. They think of her as a beautiful woman. So the things that directly has her brand is what was now selling, like Sacred. You called somebody else. What was the third person?
Rihanna, Diary of a Ninja Girl with
Dang, thank you. So she was selling stories. She was basically selling the Ninja person, as it were, and what they go through, right? And she built a brand off that. She's now reaping off the brand she has built. People have now gotten to trust her. She has equity. So now she's selling her equity. You can't sell what you don't have. And that's the issue with merch. It's a byproduct. It's not the product.
Wow. Thank you very much, Mr. Chuka. Very well said. Mr. Ndubisi, you wanted to add to that?
Okay. This is a great thing he said, but consumption, creativity has different ways you consume it. I know that a writer writes, and it's a book. The only way you can read his writing is it has to become a book. And that's the only way they sell that book, right? As much as they also have limited editions, they also have like collector's editions. Yeah. They also try to create a value chain even in the product they are bringing up, right? For instance, there's a theater producer now. How do you consume a play? You have to go to the stage. He has to sell a ticket. So, so these are two different consumptions because they are creative product, but the interesting thing is that they have to churn out these products in different forms. I am a painter. I have to paint on canvas. DK is a poet. He's written a book. So does theater. So as much as we're talking about merchandising, value, I agree. Value, of course, is the reason why I buy a ticket. When I was curating TED, they asked us a question. Who is that one person that's going to be a TED speaker that will sell that ticket to everybody whenever you're thinking about a TED event? So, so consumption, the channel of consumption, what product are you putting out? What is the end product? Because even a poet can make a merchandise out of his poetry. Yes. Theaters do that. So they sell you T-shirts, they sell jotters, they sell stuff like that. But I want to also believe that in this category, there's a high-end value. So when I talk about art, I talk about the high art, like paintings, of course. I mean, I had one interesting conversation a long time ago with DK, but it's not something to talk about today. There are valued products out of creativity that if I sell one today, I could probably not paint. I could probably not do any other thing as a creative. So this is where I stand with him, because now, if you know that, has anyone seen this painting we're all like, Mona Lisa? Has anyone seen Mona Lisa, the real Mona Lisa?
Yeah.
That painting, I can put it on top of this space. It's very small, A4 size. But I can't get, he's sitting there, I can't go beyond that distance to say it. There will be alarm. This is value. So that painting, of course, I know because of the high value of Mona Lisa, there's also a need to merchandise it. We've seen Mona Lisa in different forms.
Everywhere, yeah.
But if Da Vinci that we were talking about just earlier inside had not become who he is, that piece would not be the most expensive, like sought after painting. It is even a national treasure. Countries borrow to show it. Like, I mean, it's not even for sale. Like, that's how serious it is. So, so if you're thinking of merchandising, but if your product is an high-end kind of consumption, like me, I will be thinking of collectors. A collector will not want to be aware that there's another copy of what he owns. I don't know, have you walked into a collector's house? Like, since we're talking, this guy is telling you about 10 pieces he owns. They take pride in talking about it. They will be just thrilling you about, oh, when I was in France, I got these pieces. I waited for 2 years for this work. That guy doesn't want to hear that you turned down to a T-shirt. I mean, like, man, growing up, I made one of those mistakes, but I don't want to talk about it again. So, if you're pushing for high-end art, please think about value. And that process of waiting for that value price, I can tell you that it is not an easy growing process. And I know a lot of creatives. So one of my big friends, Victor Hicamino, between the time Victor Hicamino became the Victor Hicamino that we all know now, he was doing other things. But they were not in the public domain. So he was putting his value out there, but surviving to make sure that he can ask his $60,000 for half this carpet of his painting. He was not was not bringing down that value by watering it down by putting those things in merchandise. He wanted you to search for it to know that this, if you want it, come to me, come to my studio, pay this value. And now, I was just telling someone in my office the other day that somebody can sell an art piece and buy a property. I said, yes. That I know. I know, because I know people who do it. I know people that have turned around value for just one piece they own. So you be careful, because of course you know that scarcity drives demand. Like, seriously, if it's out there, but if it's scarce to find, and they know that that's just that one, somebody will just be telling, like, I own this one, I own this one. I give you one example and then I stop talking.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
There's a painting that was by Benny Onwunwu, suddenly sold 4 or 5 years ago in London at an auction house. I got 2 calls, one from France, one from England. They were asking me, I got very sensitive calls, who bought that painting, because they know it was a Nigerian. And he said, do not give away my identity. Sold very expensive, but he actually wanted to buy non-disclosure. I bought it off the auction. And I asked the French people, like, okay, why are you looking for the identity? They said they want to invite this guy to the next auctions, that they just want to know the person. And I said, between you and I, the truth, I don't know. And then I didn't know. But how did I get to know? It was an accident. The owner of Access Bank, late Wigwe, right? As soon as he died in that plane crash, people needed to go and authenticate the value of what he owns. Lo and behold, Tutu was sitting in his house. That painting, the whole world is looking for who bought it. It was late Wige. It's his house in Lagos. So this is what value can do. Like, if you put that piece out now, only God knows how to sell it. That's all I want to say.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much for highlighting the importance of value and that how can in turn bring in revenue at the highest. Thank you very much. Mr. DK, my next question is for you as well. I'm curious about the differences between Gen Z and Gen X in approaching the business side of creative work.
How do you, Gen Z and Gen who? X?
Yes.
Interesting.
In fact, we're not Gen Z, Gen X, millennials. How are they working at the business side of creative work?
I don't think there is a Gen Z, Gen X, millennial, or to me, differentiation in the way young creatives approach the business end of it. I think generally, Nigerian creatives are not good with the business end of things, whether they are Gen Z or Gen X or millennial. Obviously, our schools are very theoretical, very theory and textbook based, so we don't even learn entrepreneurial skills in school. And then creativity is not something that is taught at all. So when you come to the creative space, there's a paucity of business heads. So to answer your question directly, we're all bad at it, regardless of what generation we belong to. But there's something I wanted to add to what they said. I want to emphasize that if you ask me, concentrate on your art, on the quality of your art.
Okay.
That's the first thing. Merchandising to me is a third generation thing because really it is driven by your brand and it takes a while to build a brand. There's a difference between people coming to sell things while you are doing your thing. That's not merchandising. Merchandising is people are buying that thing because of the brand is associated with. And it takes a while to build that currency. Now 100,000 people are following you on Twitter. Does not mean they'll buy a t-shirt that has your face on it. It's very different. The first thing you should concentrate on is building the quality of your brand. Then secondly, protecting it. So this copyright is a human right. You don't have to go to National Copyright Commission to create your copyright. The moment you create a piece of art, you have the copyright to it. But what NCC does for you, it gives you a very easy way of proving it. If somebody is challenging you and you have to go to court, it gives you an easy way to prove that you actually created this work. It's not registration that creates copyright, it's a human right. But then there are trademarks. So every time you create something and there's a symbol to it or a name to it, you need to go and protect that one. That one is not copyright. So if you have some funny stage name or you created a look, you need to go and register it at the Trademark Commission. Always protect your intellectual property. Number 3, personally, never sell your work. Only license your work. Many young creatives, because of hunger, they will call and just say, write a poem, we'll pay you 30K and collect the poem. And it doesn't belong to you again. That's how what happens happens. Another sad one is this popular Lion King theme song. In the jungle, the quiet jungle. Everybody knows that song. Do you know that Lion King Broadway has been running for decades in the US playing that song? But the guy that wrote that song is a South African. He died poor. His family is poor. And that song is making multi-billions of dollars around the world. Why? Somebody commissioned you to write it. So when people approach me, no matter how much they offer for me to write a thing on commission, I always decline. I prefer to write it, you don't pay me anything, but I will earn royalties from it whenever you make money from it. And you structure it in such a way, I can say, look, my royalty arrangement with you is that every time you perform this thing, there's a flat fee you pay me, and then I'll also take a percentage of your earnings so that I have some security, but if you're growing, I can also grow with you. So those are three things that I do. One, I concentrate on quality. Leave T-shirt first. If somebody wants to come and sell T-shirts at the event, fine. But don't be thinking merchandising. I'm not a T-shirt seller. I'm not a shoe seller. You might find yourself spending more time looking for products to put your brand. When you develop your brand, you will know. And it will drive, in fact, other people will be the ones coming to leverage on your brand and bringing you products and begging you to put your name or your words on it. Protect your intellectual property. Know what intellectual property is. If you don't have a lawyer friend, make a lawyer friend. Know what intellectual property is and how to protect it. And 3, always think licensing. Do you know the video Thriller by Michael Jackson? If you watch the video Thriller, at the beginning there was some spoken word, midnight, something on the prowl, before the song starts. The guy that wrote those words, they came to him and they said, we would like you to write something for Thriller. And we don't really have a lot of money, so we would like to offer you royalty, in the music video. The guy said, which royalty? What is Thriller? What are you people talking? Pay me upfront, cash in hand. A decision he regretted till the day he died, because Thriller went on to blow. So always learn to, as a creative, you don't know which of your works would do that. It has immortal value. So don't be quick to sell art. Art does not have value. That's what he's telling you. Somebody can sell half of this carpet and use it and buy a house. The value is subjective. It's in the mind of the purchaser. So always think licensing as opposed to selling your work outright. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. You answered my next question before I even asked it. Once you said that we're all by the business side, I was like, okay, so how do we correct this? And you've answered it beautifully. Thank you very much, sir. So the final question is for you, Mr. Oladotu. We've spoken a bit about documenting your work as a creative and, using whatever resource contracts, whatever resource is available to you and need and required even. So, sir, what would you say the role of this documentation is for creatives to continue getting paid? It's just a really short question. How can documentation, what is the role of that documentation in case nobody has been listening and they think we're faffing around and we're playing? Okay. What is the importance, what is the role of that documentation for their creative work?
Okay, thank you. Quickly. The first and most important part is to establish the fact that you were the one who created it. Because the truth is that ideas cannot be copyrighted. So if you have shared it, somebody can go and concretize that same idea in a different form, and as long as he registers it before you, he can prove ownership when actually he did not own it. So you need to use it to establish, and I'm really glad that you threw this particular question in my direction. Because yesterday, something that was thought to be novel was spoken about here. The idea that you will quickly go and register it in NCC. There's another tweak to that method. Of old, when you do a creative work, there's something you could do. You put it in an envelope. You seal it. Go to the post and mail it to yourself. When you mail it to yourself, make sure that copy is kept sealed until and unless it is needed. You understand? Because that establishes the fact that you are the first to concretize that idea. And that is where the Gen Zs and this generation is absolutely lucky in this respect. Because anything that you document on the internet is automatically time-stamped. There's automatic timestamp on anything that you put on the internet. So you put that record on the internet, and it does not matter how many people come after to come and repeat it. You can use that because the internet never forgets. Yeah. So that it is important. You can use it to prove the fact that you were the first to do it. You can use it to prove so many other things, and it now provides you evidence, which, if the need arises, can then be tendered in the court. That's basically what it is. It's an auto protection.
Thank you very much, our panelists. I'm sure that there are questions, all right? But our time is already far spent, so we'll take one question is what our time would allow us to take. So please, if you have a question, can just signify quickly. Okay, I've seen one person, and that's it. You're lucky, Desa. He's right in front here. Yeah. Please, can we get another microphone? That's an issue. Okay. If you can just project your voice so we can hear it.
You mentioned that you have done a couple of things. You spoke about music. Yes. So my question is, how do you know, like, when a failure is a dead end and when a failure is part of the process? Like you fail and you fail forward, or when you fail and okay, this is not working, find another way. That's my question.
Thank you very much.
That's a really good question. Okay. You're a creative, yeah? You know what a gut feeling is? Okay. So, God gave everybody intuition, right? Everybody. And the mistake is that a lot of people think that that gut feeling and that intuition is the end-all, be-all. They think that it doesn't mean that you have to be excellent at what you do. So if you look at, for example, Joseph's story, Joseph was 17 or so when he was taken to slavery. And so it was around that age that he had the dreams that he was going to be bowed to by his brothers and his parents. But the events that made him ready to be bowed to took 13 years. And 13 years of not stopping, even when there were dead ends everywhere. There was a dead end being a slave. All right, what can you be? But there wasn't enough. He rose to the cream of the crop as a slave. There was a dead end. Prison, even worse than being a slave. Rose to the cream of the crop. In there. So the dead end was never really that he wasn't going to be. The dead end was going to be if he decided he was not going to be. I remember that, okay, everybody talks about Ashake now, right? Ashake said that, when everybody was, popping, as it were, and nobody was sending him, that he would listen to his music. Like he knew, I'm like, this thing is good. This is a case of not you creating crap music. Is that you know that this thing you have created is great, but for some reason, it's just not the time. And he kept waiting and waiting. And then when it happened, what happened? The entire industry started copying the same guy. Everybody started doing that chorus hook that has like a choir feel, like many voices, and copying him because his time had come, right? a lot of times we make the mistake of thinking that we are good enough because we have the right idea. There's still a lot of work to be done. A lot of things that you consider to be the final point is a part of the journey. So I do music, but I loved it, and I wanted people to, I wasn't pushing it because of money. I wanted people to hear what I was doing. But what happened was that music was part of my journey. I still make the music. I have fun with the music. The music inspires a lot of what I write that become ads. And the music helps me do those things. The music becomes background music for some of these ads. But if I had the mindset that it meant that my music meant I had to be a music superstar, I'll have a big problem. So it's that understanding that these things you've been given, keep honing and keep pushing and keep having an open mind to know what they are meant for you to do with. My failures are many, because you're asking about failures. It's interesting because when I joined the second business I was going to join, the first thing I asked the man was, okay, tell me, what was your biggest failure? And he said, nobody has asked me this question before. This was in 2010. If your failures are based on your incompetence, it's a different discussion. When your work is not up to scratch, you didn't fail forward if you don't make your work up to scratch. You will know when you see somebody, when you put side by side, which one is better. What do you create? Creative, what do you do? Videos, beautiful. Now, videos. You do videos, you will know when a video is better than yours. And you will know when your video is better than somebody else's. That person's video that yours is better than might have connections. That means his videos are everywhere. He might have likes. Doesn't mean he didn't buy it. Because you can pay for viewership. But when you are creating work, and you can see that, oh, as good as my work is, look at where other people's work are. And you continuously push yourself till your work is beating or matching those people, then you are in the right place. When your work is matching those people and because you are not known, and because you did it in a manner, because of the fact that you had to come up, in a manner that means you are getting that almost that level of quality of video for much less, people will start coming to you. Because, hey, I mean, I like that guy. Since you do videos, you must know Oluwa the best, right? Good. I can't afford the best, but I can afford him. It might be 20% lower than the best, but it's fine for what I need. You have your own clientele while still growing. Since you do videos, I've worked with some of the greatest video guys in Nigeria. I used to do design sets for Clarence Peters when he was the hottest guy. Then I did some of my best work with the best. With a lot of other guys, yes. A lot of ads that I've done that won awards, the best shot them for me. But I'm always on the lookout for new guys. Because the best doesn't have my time all the time. Right? So, the failure is in not getting better. That's the only failure there is. The dead end is when you refuse to become the best in that field. Because once you're the best in that field, it doesn't matter whether you like it or not, they'll keep banging down your door. Because they need that work you do. And then, oh, even better that you do it less for cheaper than the other guy that's collecting money. It's you that will have problem keeping up with your clientele. Thank you.
Can I just add, though, that you need to ask yourself what success means to you. When you say something, dead end to where? Where are you going? And if it's money and patronage, it's different. But sometimes you can make a lot of impact even when you're not making money. You can have things that show you that your work is good. It's just that maybe, the time has not come. People don't appreciate it. So it depends on what you're looking at. Is it dead end, I'm not blowing? Or, dead end, I'm not getting the attention that my work deserves. Now, if it's dead end I'm not blowing, I can't really answer that for you because crap can blow, so you can learn how to blow. It has nothing to do with art. But if it's dead end, I'm creating quality work and it's not getting the attention that it deserves, then one, you might need to speak to people in marketing, just to make sure that there are no boxes you're not ticking in terms of trying to get your work out there. When you've done all that and you're still not getting the attention you deserve, then it is time to just stand. Just stand and wait for your time to come. Don't water down your work in order to make it more popular. Just once you know I've created what I need to create, then just stay there. I'm a poet. I'm not a visual artist. I'm not an author. I'm a poet. I don't have any examples in the world of successful billionaire. I don't have any of those examples. Starting out in Nigeria, I had nobody to look up to. Like, okay, this person is a poet, and I didn't have anything. The first poetry collection I published, for 1 year, I couldn't sell a copy. 1 year. I've taken a poetry show to Benin, an auditorium that can seat 1,000 people. Only 20 people came. But those 20 people, they never forgot what they saw that day. We performed as if that hall was full. Once you have your stuff, once you know who you are and you know what you're doing, and you know sometimes as artists, I have to say this, I know this thing is commercial bent, but I'm a purpose-driven artist. I'm not driven by money. I know I need money and I make money, but I'm purpose-driven. Sometimes society needs things that it doesn't want. And it's your job to provide what they need, whether they want it or not. So put those things into consideration as well. All right? Everybody is pandering to wants and making money from it. But as an artist, sometimes you are called to speak to the future of the society. They will get there. What you're saying today, they will get there. So it depends on what kind of artist you are. All right? When you're talking about dead ends, I really believe in resilience. If you're an apple tree, don't look and say oranges are in season. Let me start trying to become an orange. I'm an apple tree. Even if all my apples will fall on the ground and rot, I'm an apple tree. All right?
Wow. My mind is completely blown. How do I even wrap this session up? But I will try. Just before we wrap up the panel session, I want to say that the next program on our agenda is Spotlighting a Success Story by one of our speakers here that will be making a presentation, Mr. Brian Wana. So if the media can just, get him ready because he'll be coming on after we wrap up the panel session. Thank you. Just to wrap up, final words. You've said it all, but if there's anything else you could add, maybe for creatives to do this week alone, let's take it step by step. You can't learn everything at once. What would you say? I'll start with you, Mr. Oladotu.
Very simply, keep learning. Never stop learning. Because there will always be something that you will learn that will take you from this level
to the next level. Thank you very much. Mr. Ndubisi, in 30 seconds, what should they do this week?
Is it what they should do or what I'll ask them to see themselves as? There's something he said, and it gave me a shiver because I've heard that over and over. And it was it's a book someone wrote. And he was saying, and he used the word, what you've been given. I looked, I didn't know whether somebody else grabbed it. It's magic.
Wow.
What you've been given is magic.
Okay.
When you see it like that, you will know that it means you have something the world is how they are looking for. You've been given magic. Creativity is intangible. So face your fear. Is that thing that you're looking for is on the other side? Just face it. Just face your fear. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Chuka, your parting words.
Okay, so we're here to discuss creative economy and digital transformation and entrepreneurial growth. So in this digital transformation that is going on, we've talked about how AI is a big tool, right? And how AI is disrupting things as well. Don't be afraid of AI. Be a friend of AI. And always remember this as a creative. Artificial intelligence will never replace natural brilliance. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chuka. And finally,
artificial intelligence will never replace natural brilliance.
thank you very much.
I'm a sucker for punchlines.
In that case, we'll have a long discussion after.
My own is just create. Being a creative is not theory, it's practice. So create, don't wait to feel like it. Don't say it's crap, just create. Everybody's body of work is a pyramid. Lots of crap at the bottom and one masterpiece on top. So you have to create a lot to get to your masterpiece.
Thank you very much, our wonderful panelists, for steering this conversation ever so powerfully. We've learned so much: purpose, value, protection. Where do we even start in digesting these words? Thank you so much. I've gotten my value. I'm the one who anchored this star-studded, panelists. So yeah. Put some respect on my name. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sirs. Can't wait to see you again. The great things you're doing. You can take your seat. Thank you very much. Thank you. Lovely, lovely. We're having such a great time. I hope you're not tired yet. Please feel free to take your seats. Once again, thank you very much to our panelists for this amazing panel discussion. Next on the agenda, very important, we're talking about the creative economy. It's about you, the creatives. We want to show you that these things are possible. It is a possibility. It's not just talk. It's not just theory. And so we have here today a very, very interesting guest. I'm sure some of you have seen him. You already know him because you've seen him on Instagram, on TikTok, everywhere. He's a big person, and he's going to give us a presentation about his success story. I'm just going to call his name and read a brief bio about him, and then, of course, I'll invite him to stage. Our speaker who will be spotlighting his success story is Brian Nwana. Brian Nwana is a food content creator and media personality passionate about spotlighting Nigeria's food culture. Based in Abuja, he set a Guinness World Record by visiting 150 fast food restaurants in 24 hours, showcasing Nigerian cuisine and supporting local businesses. Very lovely, isn't that? With a following of over 500,000, he champions culinary tourism, promotes local brands, and inspires the next generation of creatives. Ladies and gentlemen, a resounding applause for our success story today, Mr. Brian Nwana. As he comes up, please keep clapping, keep clapping. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone. I won't lie to you, I'm very nervous right now because coming after the industry leaders that just left this place is a challenge. My name is Brian Nwana. I'm a food content creator, a food enthusiast, a travel creator as well, and I'm a Guinness World Record holder for the most fast food restaurants visited in 24 hours. And I think basically I'm here to tell you that content creation can change your life because, I mean, they invited me to spotlight that particular segment. And yeah, I'll say that content creation can change your life. Look at me, a guy who eats food online, coming after industry. Do you know the people who were just sitting down in front of you right now? Now, what do I have to say about that? First of all, I would like to start with my story. So I started content creation not as a thing of, oh, I'm trying to make money, oh, this is a career path. To be honest, I started as a hobby, which is one of the reasons why I think it was easy for me to succeed in it. I started content creation, food content creation, when I was in university. I schooled in Lagos, in Pan Atlantic University. I started content creation then, and basically, my problem or my thing then was I had a small food business, and I wanted to be able to promote it myself. Because as of that time, a lot of influencers then had shown me Shegesha, so I wanted to promote my own business myself. I started posting recipe videos. I started doing food reviews of spots on campus, and eventually I had some viral videos on campus. Subsequently, after leaving university, I did my NYSC like every other normal Nigerian youth. I was going to be done with Nigeria, and it didn't work out. So I decided to, you know what, whatever I'm currently doing, I should do it to the best of my abilities, which made me focus on content creation. Now, something interesting happened. I genuinely never knew like content creators got paid. I'll be very honest with you. When I started, I never knew it. I don't even know what I expected. Maybe I thought they had side hustles at that point. I don't know what they were doing. I just saw people making videos, and I assumed they were doing this as a hobby, or some people just liked being online, like being famous, basically. But as I started content creation, my first gig, I'll be very open with you guys, the first person who gave me money for content was 4 videos for 25,000 naira. Like, and it's as of that time, it was very interesting to me because it felt like, oh, this person is paying me money, even though it was not a lot, but this person is paying me money to make videos. Like, isn't it to carry camera and record? But as time has like passed and everything, I feel like people underestimate the power of a content creator. I'll give an example of a restaurant I visited like just last week. So this guy started a street food business. He sells rice on the road, like rice business and everything. And a couple of creators, myself and some other creators, like visited him sometime, I think last year, like about a year ago, and he was on the roadside just with heaps of rice, selling rice. And we made a video. I remember the video I made got over 1 million views. And, you know, the guy invited me to his restaurant. Mind you, I didn't see his street food restaurant now. He invited me to his fully built restaurant that can seat about 20 people in Gwarinpa. And he was just telling me about how this video I made changed his life. So when you're thinking about content creation, you're not just thinking about how it can change your life, but how it can affect the people around you as well. And so let's talk about the Guinness World Record, because I feel like that's a very important shift in my life that I had. So why did I attempt to do the world record? So I'll be very open with you guys. Initially, I do a lot of content series, and my initial plan was to visit like a lot of restaurants in a day as a content plan, or as a content pillar. And that period, I think I saw some Americans in New York who had broken the world record for the most restaurants visited. I think it was Linja and a guy named Nick. They broke the record in New York. So I decided, you know what, let me do some research. And I applied to break the record. The record that was held at the time I attempted it was 100 fast food restaurants. And mind you, the last 2 record holders, the person who broke it and the person who broke it after that person, had both broke it in New York. And if you're familiar with the terrain of the US and New York in particular, the public transportation system is perfect. There are a lot of clusters of restaurants, so it was very easy for them to do. Now, coming to Nigeria, when I started planning to break the world record, if you see the rules and regulations Guinness World Record people gave me, you can't use public transportation. You have to use public transportation. You have to put all the restaurants on maps. It has to be very viable. You have to post pictures. You have to do this. And coming to Nigeria, where there is a place where not a lot of things are documented. Even statistics based of SMEs and everything is the documentation is very poor. A lot of restaurants are also not on maps, are not online, and the visibility is very poor. So this was a very big struggle, most especially with the whole public transportation thing because they didn't recognize keke or danfo buses or whatever as public transportation. Their idea was, oh, public transportation is train, oh, buses with, which made it very, very difficult. I remember the day I was, because I was practicing to work a lot for that quest. So I remember I was walking around my estate, getting ready for the quest and everything. And we were talking to a transport company. I don't know whether they're still in operation in Abuja. I can't remember their name, but they had like buses, BRT buses that they were trying to launch in Abuja. And I was talking to them to see if they could provide a route, or if there was a route that went along my, like the route I wanted to take. And I remember the day I got a call from their marketing person who told me that it was not possible, that, you know, they couldn't take me, and it was not just feasible. And I literally sat down on like the roadside of like the street I was walking. I just sat down, I just started thinking, like, who sent me to do all these ones? Like, I really can't just go and be sleeping right now. But like another thing about the question on failure here is when to give up and when to continue pushing. I felt that, or I feel even up until today, the world record thing was not just about me. The major aim of it was, as a food content creator who had a small business that died because of the Nigerian economy, I prioritized working with small food businesses and trying to spotlight them. So it was about putting businesses on the map, literally, like putting Abuja food businesses on the map. So it was, in as much as obviously as a creator, that kind of thing helps your visibility, but except from that, there was an altruistic like thing behind it, you get. So I thought to myself, and you know what, after speaking to, you know, my friends, my management and things like that, I decided to walk. Mind you, I didn't just walk around my estate this time. I walked from Gwarinpa to Wuse to visit 150 restaurants. And now when I speak about it, it seems, that thing was just there. But bro, do you know what it means to walk from Gwarinpa on the expressway to Wuse? Mind you, it even rained that night if I think about it. So during this, the preparation was the hardest part. Going to these restaurants and letting them know that, oh, we want to do this thing. You guys are not on map. Can you try and like, what do you call it? Can you get on map? Putting some of them on the map, literally. And it was a thing of, some of them obviously didn't understand which one is Guinness. You go to an amala seller, tell her you're doing Guinness. What is Guinness? Like, waiting be that? Is it drink or... So, well, yeah, that was what we had to go through. We had to go through a lot of talking. We had to go through a lot of, you know, convincing, you know, because as of that time, I was a lot smaller than I am now. So it's not like Yodabasi that I can just drop my name and, you know, things will open. I had to convince a lot of people. But one thing that really helped me was having a strong support group, like having people in my corner that really, from family to friends and management, people who could see the vision as well. And subsequently, like, we did it. I mean, we broke the world record. We visited 150 restaurants in Abuja. And this was interesting to me because during the live sessions, like, there were people from Lagos, people from like other countries like diaspora and everything that were asking, so Abuja has up to 150 restaurants. Which is the idea I wanted to change. Why am I telling you all this? I'm not just trying to bore you with long talk. I'm trying to show you that this content creation of a thing is very, very interesting. Because your life can change overnight as fast as that. And if you don't know how to, there's something who said it recently, I think it was Tony Lumelo, I don't know, but he said, success comes when luck meets opportunity. And I feel like if you're not ready ready to grab chances that you have and everything, you're going to lose it. I recently saw a video of a lady in London. She's a Nigerian auntie who, I don't know whether you know her. She stands in the front of buses and like does selfies and buses pass her. That lady or that woman or that auntie has worked with, is it Louis Vuitton? She has worked with H&M. She has collabed with Wisdom Kaye from posting videos with her phone on the streets. Like, that is it crazy? I'm so sorry, but isn't it like astonishing how that kind of thing can happen? And it just says that just because today, like you're sitting here today, that doesn't mean tomorrow you can't be on the stage telling people about your experiences as well. Because look at me, I'm living proof that it's possible. And what else do I have to say about this? I'm so sorry, I'm very nervous right now, so I'm just trying to collect my thoughts. But yeah, basically, not just me. There are a lot of other creators that I could give examples of, like a lot of other creators. You have people like even Hilda Basi herself. Hilda Basi, except from like this current world record was someone who, even I knew her before she did that first world record. She was a TV host. She used to do like food content. She had a restaurant. I knew her before her first world record. But see, she had a world record cookathon for 4 days. And the way she entered that world record, that cookathon on the first day was very different from how she left. She left maybe with maybe a couple 100,000 people knowing her name to the whole Nigeria knowing her name. So that is to show you how much can change in a little amount of time as a creator. I'm going to ask a question, like real quick. How many of you here are creators? I know obviously it sounds like a stupid question because this is a creators forum, but how many of you here are creating content now? Can you just like indicate please by raising up your hand? Now, let me tell you, all of you that your hands are down, there's a lot of money in content creation, so you should try and get that up. But yeah, I'm assuming you struggle with things like your views. Your views are not the best sometimes. You struggle with things like maybe some brands will want to show you shiggy because you're still upcoming. Some brands will want to disrespect you because you're still upcoming. But one thing I'm going to tell you based off my personal experience is you have to hustle to prove them right, to prove them wrong, rather. I'll give you an example of a restaurant that I did one series, one content, one video like that, and they reposted it. A very popular restaurant, I won't call the name, but they reposted it, and these particular people, I now said, I now pitched myself to them that, this is what I do, I could work with you guys, They posted me, like, for those of you who don't know the meaning of posting, that's another informal term. They basically ghost. I don't know what's the formal term for ghosted. I don't know the word to use, but you understand the gist. And you know what? I charged it to the game that, okay, I'm a small creator, no problem, no wahala. Now I tell you, I kid you not, that these people reached out to me like earlier this year, sometimes, what I charged them was over 7 figures, and that's currently my worth, so they had to pay it. So it wasn't just about, it's not about just, it's not just about, this person told me no, that means I'm failing, let me go and sleep or something. It's about hustling enough to prove them wrong, because there's nothing sweeter than revenge. No offense, like, I'm being so real. But I'll be honest with you, there are a lot of things I want to say. There are a lot of things I actually prepared to say. But what I want to end with is that the same thing I started with. Content creation can change your life. And it's not just limited to people who actually want to just maybe make a personality, be like an online personality. As a business owner, as a poet, as an actor, as an actress, as what other professions do they have? As a doctor, as whatever, you can be a content creator, but your purpose or what you want to get out of content creation could be different from what I'm trying to get out from it. So, with these few points of mine, I've been... I hope I've been able to convince and not confuse. Sorry, I'm a debater, so confuse you that content creation is the way to go in this new age of digital life.
Thank you very much, Brian. Please, can you stay seated? We have some questions.
Okay, sorry. I forgot, yeah.
Oh, please sit.
Oh, sit.
Well, I'll prefer you are in that
in the
other
middle?
seat. Yes.
Okay.
You're the celeb right now, so enjoy. Please don't charge me for this.
Don't worry, you're good.
Okay. Thank you very much for telling us your success story from grass to grace. From small figures to 7 figures.
I'm so sorry, let me just say something. I won't shalaye and tell you people I came from grass crash, because as I said, I had people in my corner who invested in what I do. I don't want to be one of those speakers that say inspire to expire to perspire. No. I had a lot of support. Not everybody would have that same amount of support, but like I feel if you have people in your corner, it's very important for whatever you're doing, content or, yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much for adding that. I like that you're authentic to yourself. I have 2 questions prepared for you, and then, of course, we'll ask participants to ask you 1 question or 2. So the first question is, you've spoken a bit about it, but in clear terms, what challenges did you face when you started out as a content creator, especially in your niche area of food blogging, and how did you overcome that?
So I faced a lot of challenges. First of all, I started off with cooking content, which is like creating recipes online, and I realized that wasn't doing too well, and it was very expensive too as a creator who was just starting off, so I pivoted. So the first thing was low engagement, which everybody would naturally have to face. I struggled. I remember then I would post and the only people commenting are maybe my close friends and my siblings or something, just commenting. I was happy about that, but still, that was a challenge I faced. And the thing about low engagement is it can be very discouraging. Because when it looks or when it feels like people are not really seeing what you're putting, let's say you spend about 5 hours creating a video, editing the video, you spend about, let's say, 100,000 naira or 50,000 naira buying the food or like buying the ingredients to make the food, and you see views, you're getting 100 views from daddy, mommy, and sisters. Like, bro, it can be very discouraging. So that was a challenge that was one of the challenges I faced, which is natural for any upcoming creator, except from if, let's say, you have someone who is in your corner to help your content grow. Another challenge I faced, as I would say, is the whole, as a food critic, as a food reviewer and everything, I've had my fair share of issues with some restaurants that, to me, had subpar food and everything, and I had to call out because, okay, let me tell you something. I've bought food before, shawarma, and I ate glass in the shawarma. It sounds very like, you understand, I ate glass as per glass.
Wow.
In the shawarma. So as someone who reviews food, you have to face things like that. I was very, very sick in April from typhoid. I traveled around, I won't call the state, but I got typhoid, and this, as for my niche, these are challenges that I face. Obviously, the way you have to learn how to navigate it. Like now, for typhoid, I'm vaccinated now. I didn't know there was a vaccine for typhoid, but I'm vaccinated for typhoid now, and just things like that. There are things that you need to learn as you go. So these are some of the challenges that I faced in my niche. First of all, at the beginning, low engagements. Now going to places that might have like practices, which is something I would like to touch on real quick. Now, might have practices that are not unsafe to my health. And why did I say I want to talk on that? Because I feel like in Nigeria, what do you call it? Let me not call any particular agency, but like the consumer protection laws are not that strong. There are a lot of things we consume, there are a lot of things we eat that are harmful to us that we don't even know about it. There's nobody really protecting us like that, even though there are agencies in charge of protecting us like that, which is why in my niche as food reviewers and as food critics, sometimes it's very funny when you post, let's say, a bad review about maybe something being spoiled or something being stale, and you have people saying, don't go and spoil this person's business, don't go and spoil this person's business. And you're like, I'm trying to save your life, because at the end of the day, when these kind of things happen, like for instance, the typhoid now, I know how much I spent trying to treat it, because it was not just normal typhoid that you take medication. Bro, I spent 5 days in the hospital, admitted, over 14. It was very, 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 very serious. I spent like very serious. But when this kind of thing happens, luckily for me, I was able to get proper healthcare.
Yeah.
Healthcare is a luxury in Nigeria, to the extent that if you're eating bad food, like that's why they say sometimes in crude terms, being poor is very expensive. Because if you're eating, like, let's say, street food, and you're eating, like, low quality food because, you're trying to save money, and something happens to you, maybe due to unsanitary things, you get sick or something, treating yourself is going to be very expensive. And some people might not even survive to tell their story. Which is why now, since that whole typhoid experience, I'm a lot more forward when it comes to sanitation in food. Like, even I don't give excuses for, let's say, the roadside Akara woman who is doing messy things around that area. I feel like you not having money to provide certain standards or facilities doesn't release you from being hygienic. You can be low budget and still hygienic at the same time.
Yes.
So yeah, like two things I would say, some challenges as a food critic, as a food enthusiast that I face is, first of all, food poisoning and harmful food practices. At the beginning, low engagement, and at the beginning too, as I said, restaurants or brands will whine you. So those are some of the challenges.
Thank you very much for highlighting these different things. First of all, letting us know that we should stay the course, be consistent, for low engagement. And of course, you just gave food business people, something to take home. So thank you for that free business advice. The second question is on content creating. You spoke very recently. You just said that you now make 7 figures upward, for the work that you do currently. What would you say to a creator that does not want to, that does not want to show their face on social media? They want to create, but they want to create anonymously, especially possibly in your line of work?
So I'll be very honest with you, like, you do not have to show your face. There are a lot of YouTube accounts, faceless YouTube accounts, making millions of dollars, like, from not showing their faces. Even at the beginning, when I started, I was not, like, believe it or not, I genuinely do not like attention on me. So it's a thing of, at the beginning, I was not showing my face, I was not putting my voice. It was, I think, one video I made that I actually showed my face and put my voice up. People, like, noticed it, which is why I continued with that. But you don't have to show your face to succeed in content. That's the beauty about content. It's very open. Like, you can choose anything, you can do anything, you can start creating content where you're facing the back and, like, literally facing the back and people are watching it. You have your niche. You just need to know what works for you. And I would advise you to also try not to really copy what everybody is doing, because at the end of the day, nobody is trying to find a new person doing the same thing as the other people. Like, you want to try doing new things, you want to experiment with things, you want to. The beauty, I was telling one upcoming, like, food creator who was talking to me when I was in Lagos that he's very lucky, because now, starting off, like, if I had the opportunity to start again, I feel like I would have done things a lot differently. You have the platform, you have the opportunity to really do a lot of radical things that, you know what, if it works out, it works out. But if it doesn't work out, nobody saw it, so you can attempt to do it. There are some things currently that I might not really do on my page because there are a lot more eyes on me now. You get that. I might not really want to maybe post or see. But if I was starting off, there are a lot of radical things that I would have done, knowing what I know now, that I'm like, okay, if it blows up, this is my way to go. If it doesn't blow up or if it doesn't do well, charge it to the game. 0 views. Nobody saw it at the end of the day. But, yeah, so, sorry, can you remind me of the question again?
You've answered it already, but
Okay.
the question was about someone who wants to create anonymously.
Oh, yeah. So, like what I just said, is very possible. To be honest, if you're feeling maybe insecure about how you look or how you sound or whatever, there's no guidebook. Nobody wrote a guidebook on content creation and said, oh, for you to be a content creator, number one, show your face. No. At the end of the day, you start and you do what is comfortable for you, what you think. Because I feel like you'll succeed more in content when it's a passion and not something you're going into for money. Because the thing about making money, like with business and everything, is, that's something I'll speak on, please, but like business and content. But I studied business in the university, and they taught us that, oh, if you're a business, as long as you can cover your variable cost, which is like your monthly expenses, you're good to go. Like, you must not always make profit. The difference with content is you spend a long time not making money. So if you treat it as how you treat a business, that, oh, at the beginning, let me add that, oh, money in, money out. So when you don't see money for 1 year straight, what are you going to do? You're going to quit. And you'll be like, oh, this thing didn't work out. Meanwhile, you might have been impacting somebody unknowingly. There might be like 5 people there who are like maybe using your recipes, who are like eating from spots that you're posting. And now when it comes to, Mr. DK said something about creatives are terrible at business, which is the truth. The one thing that I think helps me a lot is the fact that I studied business in school. Like, I was a business student before I entered content creation. So it's kind of made me understand a lot of things, from how to treat content creation at this stage as a business, from like organizational behavior, getting people, human resources, negotiation, cost accounting. Like, for instance, let's say a brand is paying me 10 naira to create a video. I'm not going to spend 20 naira on resources to create that video. I'm not going to spend 20 naira buying food ingredients to create that video. I'm not going to spend too much, because you understand costing, you understand the profit margins and everything, even though it's not in the sense of selling actual products. So why am I saying this? Content creators do lack a lot of knowledge about business. Like, a lot of content creators. I've seen content creators who make a lot of money, but it's not really, they're not saving, they're not investing, it's just there. Money, you try to keep up with the lifestyle and it's just there. What I would say to this is that the same way that, let's say, you're a food creator, there are finance creators as well. You can follow those people. You can watch YouTube, you can read, you can do an extra course. The possibilities in this day and age are limitless.
Yeah.
Like someone said too, that making money right now is a lot easier than it was then. I mean, like, right now, the amount of information you have online is just limitless. You can be with AI, with YouTube, with TikTok, like, the possibilities are just limitless. And when you tell yourself that, that this thing, when you treat content as something that, okay, at the end of the day, it's just, how do I put it? You don't give it the attention it needs, which is something that a lot of Nigerians do. So people like, let's say, for instance, you're living with your parents now, and they tell you that, oh, can you go and, I think I saw a video or something that, oh, our parents used to disturb her when she's creating videos or something. And your parents might not really see it as an actual job, but you know that it's a job that pays you. And I feel like with content creation, you have to treat it as such. Just like whatever you do, if you're a gardener, whatever you do, if you're treating it as something that, you know, it has gone beyond a hobby now. This is something that brings food to your table. You're meant to give it that respect. You're meant to treat it like, oh, okay, you know what, when a brand sends you an email or when they give you a brief, don't just freestyle it. Write a, look at your agreement, write a content brief and like, you know, script, submit it to them. Don't treat it like, oh, a hobby. It's not just something that you're doing for yourself and your family to watch. It's something that a lot of people are going to see and, you know. So I feel with content creation is you have to just kind of put in the effort to take it from being just a side hustle to that's when obviously you've grown to the extent that you're making money from it. Let it not just be a hobby, but let it become something that you give your focus to because it deserves that particular focus.
Thank you very much. I particularly like that you spoke about education. No education is wasted. It definitely helps. And treating content creation with the seriousness that it deserves. Thank you so much for that. We only have, you know, our time is far spent. So if you have a question, can I see your hand? First person that I see. Okay, that's it. I've closed my eyes. I saw two people and that's it. The first man in white and then the guy with a floral shirt and glasses. We'll go next.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
There is, my question goes, my name is Jeff, and my question goes this way. There's a beeline between quality and cost, yeah, especially for content creation, in the sense that if you want to, in a market that I presume is saturated, I think, if you want to produce something that is of par in terms of quality, there often comes a cost to it, especially when you look at it from the perspective of gears and in instruments that you use to create the content. How do you balance it out, especially for someone that is starting out?
Okay, so what I'll say real quick is I respectfully disagree with you. For you to be a successful creator, you don't need quality gear. Like, if you go on TikTok right now, the TikTokers, there's something called, not my words, Shetekberry TikTok. Like, there's a whole side of TikTok that what do you call it, that thrives from, low quality videos. You do not have to have high quality videos. I personally believe starting off as a creator, you should focus more on quantity than quality. And now, don't get me wrong, don't misinterpret what I'm saying. By quality, I'm not talking about, oh, your videos shouldn't have any sense or any idea, but you don't need, for instance, a DJI Osmo to start posting on YouTube. You don't need an iPhone to start posting content. When the thing is that when you think that, oh, you need an iPhone, you need some gear, you need some this, that is when you procrastinate, and that is when, you know, it takes a lot more time for you to reach where you are. I'll give you an example. When I started creating content initially in uni and everything, I used to use an iPhone 6 or something, I don't know. I used to use an iPhone at that point, and my lighting was natural light. I didn't have any ring light, I didn't have anything. After that, I got a ring light, and I think maybe I was using like an 8 Plus or something. After that ring light, I got a, what do you call this light? I can't remember the name of a hot box with the whole setup, and I was still using my normal kitchen, like my normal house kitchen and everything. Now, as of last year, November, I created a home studio with like a kitchen setup, a bar setup, a review setup. And this is something, got like 2 extra lights, got like a DJI, got like a couple more tripods, like a lot of setups and everything. But now what I'm trying to explain to you is the progression. I didn't wake up thinking that, oh, I needed a studio. I didn't wake up thinking that, oh, I needed this kind of light to start creating content. I started with what I had and I grew. They say the only constant thing in life is change, like growth. Like that is the only constant in life. So if you're waiting for gear, or if you're waiting for certain gear, like to become a creator, I feel you're going to be waiting for a very long time because it's not going to fall on your lap. You have to put out the content and you have to like kind of you save up money. Some people might even give you, like, there are people who reach out to creators and be like, you know what, I like what you do, take this. So I feel waiting for gear or something can also be an excuse that you have for yourself, because another thing about human beings is when we don't want to do something, we tend to create excuses in our head, you get. So it could be an excuse that you have for yourself. I personally feel like you should start with what you have and, go from there.
Thank you very much, Brian, for emphasizing starting. Just start with what you have. One more question. Okay.
Good afternoon, Mr. Brian.
Hi, good afternoon.
So I actually watch a lot of your content on Instagram.
What's your name now? They should be seeing that.
Okay, my name is.
You know my name. I should know your name.
Okay, my name is Namo.
Pardon?
Namo. Yes.
Okay.
So my first question is, I have two questions.
Okay.
My first question is, like being a food content creator, is that like something that you've always wanted to do from the onset?
Okay.
And my second question is, what kind of tools do you use to like create your content, make videos and the rest?
Okay, so for the first one, if you had asked me like when in your school they ask you where do you see yourself in 5 years, I would never tell you that I see myself tasting food online. Legit, I've always been a business person. Even though I didn't really like the typical 9 to 5, I always knew that, even though it was the family business or if it was me starting up, I've started up a lot of business, so I've tried a lot of things in my life too. I always knew that I was not going to work the formal 9 to 5. There's nothing wrong with 9 to 5. It's just a personal thing for me. So did I think I was going to be a food content creator? No. As I said, it was a hobby that just happened to pan out. You get, which is one of the reasons why I even think it worked. Because I feel like if I thought of it as, this is my career path, I would have been too pressured to deliver. And maybe when things were not working out, the failure would have been a lot more harder to take for me, you get. But yeah, no, I didn't see myself as a food content creator. It's not something that when the food content creation became popular, maybe 3 years ago, it's not something that I woke up saying that, this is what I want to be when I grow up. But it's an interesting career path to take, obviously. But at the end of the day, I feel like it goes beyond food content creation. There's a lot of back end people don't see in the whole content creation thing and everything. There's a lot of back end that goes here. Even except from food content creating, I also kind of do food consulting. So I consult to restaurants about menus and things like that. So it's not just, in as much as you can be a creator, I'm saying that there's a whole ecosystem of things you could do surrounding that. So even though you might not see, maybe you're starting up and you're not are you a creator? Are you? No, a content creator. What kind of, Oh, interesting.
Music.
So, okay, the example I had in mind was not for music, but let's say you create videos for food, you're an upcoming food creator. There's no reason why you can't do UGC content while you're waiting to blow up. Mm-hmm. For UGC content, you don't really need to put your face on as someone said, faceless. You don't really need to put your face on, the screen or whatever. You could just use your voice, use your hands and put a voice over I'm just trying to say that your content, before you even start making money from actually being, let's say, an influencer or whatever, there are other ways around your niche. Like you said, music, you could write lyrics for people, but remember to license, as Mr. Dickey said, you could write lyrics for people, you could do jingles for ads. There are a lot of things before you become a popular, artist or whatever you get. So there are a lot of things you could do in the meantime. For your second question, what was the second question, sorry?
Tools you use.
What do I use? Tools I use. Do you mean in terms of hardware or software? Or both? So for hardware, I won't lie to you, I'm a very easy guy. I'm not, if you watch my content, you know that I don't put too much stress into creating content. I try to make it as easy as possible because I'm a natural procrastinator, which is one of my flaws. But I accept it, which is why I know how to work around it. Okay. I have a lot of gear. I have a DJI. I have a camera. I have 2 or 3 phones for content, but I only use one. You get, because I feel like the more complicated I make it, the harder it will be for me to actually use the gear that I'm buying. I have a lot of gear, packing dust. But what I'll say about this is, the same way that, okay, so for my setup, I use an iPhone 16 Pro Max for my shooting. When I want to do long-form content, even though I won't formally start doing long-form content, I use my DJI Osmo Pocket 3. I have a tripod. I have some lights, this hotbox lights, and what's the name? I can't remember the name, I'm so sorry, but like there's one particular light that comes in a hot box. I have that. Then what else? For my software, I currently now have an editor, someone who edits for me. He uses CapCut Pro, so CapCut Pro is always an option. For my scheduling and everything, even though this is not really is a personal thing, I use Notion. It helps me with scheduling and whatnot. But yeah, I think those are basically the things that help me out with content creation today.
Thank you very much, Brian.
Thank you so much for
Before we wrap up, I just want to say that the next session is Mr. Oladotun's workshop on collaborating across subsectors. So I just want media to get ready and to note that. So your parting words, in 30 seconds, because our time is already up.
Okay. My parting words, as I said, like throughout the thing I've been saying throughout this whole talk and everything is, everyone should be a content creator, regardless of what you do. Now, the purpose of what you want to get out of content creation can be different. It can differ. But I feel like in this day and age of, this digital world we live in, everyone should be a content creator. If you're a doctor, if you're, if you're a doctor, a food content creator, a YouTuber, an actor, an actress, it now depends on the kind of content you put out and what you aim to achieve or what you aim to get out from that particular content. So I think that's what I'd have to say. Become a content creator today.
Thank you very much, Brian. Please, a round of applause for Brian as he leaves the stage. Please keep clapping, keep clapping. He's done a fantastic job telling us his success story, how exactly he does it. Okay, so we have another session. The next program on the agenda is Mr. Oladotun Osunsoya's workshop on collaborating across subsectors. We've heard from everyone here today. You can't do it alone. You're not an island. You have to collaborate with different people. So that's very, very important. When he came up as a panelist, I read his bio, but I'm going to do that again, just so you have a sense of who's coming up. Okay, so Mr. Oladotun Osunsoya has a 35-year career at the National Council for Arts and Culture. He's a distinguished theater artist. He's a former director and a key voice in the industry, actively advocating for artists and promoting the arts. Today, he's going to be talking to us about collaborating across sub-sectors. A very, very important topic that cannot be overflogged. So, ladies and gentlemen, I already see he's getting his mic together. A round of applause. Very resounding, very loud, as Mr. Oladotun comes up to give us his workshop. Thank you.
Thank you very much. First off, I want to thank God for this platform and for the pastor and everybody who was involved in creating it. I also thank God that he led my feet here yesterday, because I was very, very much enriched yesterday, and I believe everybody here was too. Speaking about collaboration, I'm going to try to make this more like a provocation of a discussion than something that will begin to look like a lecture. Incidentally, you've been told I worked for government. But one of the things about me was that I was also active in the field as a theater artist. So, and now that I'm out of service, I've also seen some new levels of what it means to be a creative who is out there at sea, as against the protected one. Yes. The first thing I want to say about collaboration is that field in which you work, your number one duty is to so understand that industry that you know what the possibilities are. If you don't know what kinds of collaboration exist, then you will be missing out on a lot. Because the great question is, do you know the industry well enough to know what collaborations to seek? Do you understand me? You need to know, oh, this possibility exists, so that you are now looking for who will fill the reverse of the collaboration equation. Or to also know whether to say yes or no when a collaboration is being offered to you. And why should it be yes or why should it be no? You understand me? There are parameters to be considered. And unless you know your industry very, very well, you will not be in a good position to take this kind of decisions. So if you have decided to be in that industry at all, then get to know the industry inside out. That is, including the places you have decided to be active in and the one you are not particularly interested in at the moment. You understand me? Now, the next question you want to ask yourself is, do you know the kind of cautions? I think I eventually moved that to number 3. Now, we need to understand what we mean by collaboration. By collaboration, it's not just collaboration between you and another creative. That is not the limit of what we mean by collaboration. You are, in fact, in an inevitable collaboration process with the entire artistic and non-artistic value creation and value protection chain in your industry. Now, if you say, when we talk about collaboration for 2 musicians, for example, we're talking of X singer versus Z singer. But that is not where collaboration stops. In fact, the very fact that you exist in that industry means you are collaborating with the lawyers who are involved in them, and the accountants, the studio owners, and all these little functions that exist in the entire studio process. It also means that you must understand, including the media, the marketing, and everything. So once again, knowledge of your industry is key. And understand that even that your rival in your industry, you are also collaborating in an insidious way with him. You understand me? Because you share an audience, you share a market. Those are some of the things. Especially in the performing arts, where we're talking about the theater, music, and probably dance. Even when you are the central artist of a show that is being put up or a project that is being created, there are usually a long list of artistic employees. They are not sharing the center stage with you. But that project would not exist if they were not there. You are the chief act in a concert, for example. The people who are going to warm the stage, they're your collaborators, even though not in a direct manner. If somebody comes there and kills the interest of the audience, you know you are roasted as the main act. Because what that person was supposed to have done was not done. And so you will have to now fill in a gap that was not meant for you to take care of in any way. So people like singers, like the beat creators and so on, they are people whose contribution will be very, very important for you. And when you've done, since I've mentioned the issue of concerts, for example, do you know that the biggest acts sometimes offer you an all-night performance, and if you string together their show, they actually did not perform for more than 2 hours. You have gone to, like, a Fela concert, for example. You paid because Fela was performing. But the truth is that even though you were spending 6 hours at the concert, Fela did not perform for more than 2 hours. Now, that is because his collaborators did their bit. Because if Fela had to keep the audience alive for 6 hours, he will be outrightly burnt out. So it will be senseless if he chose his collaborators wrongly. If he failed to motivate them such that they were eager to do their bit. The next point I want to make is that I'm now coming to the issue of caution. What are the kind of cautions you must take when you are doing a collaboration. And it begins like with something that I've just mentioned now. You must know how to choose your collaborators. If you choose the wrong collaborators of any type, whether is it the minor artist, is it the engineering crew, is it the set design, is it the sound management, is it the marketer, is it whatever that person is doing in that project, you need first and foremost to select them very, very carefully. They say a chain is as strong as its weakest point. So that person that didn't seem important to the project can actually mess it up big time just because you chose the wrong person. Yes. Now, this is the last point. Like I said, I just want to provoke a discussion here. Collaboration is not necessarily an act of friendship. It does not have to be with your friend. It is an acknowledgement that there are on both sides of the divide, on your side and on the side of the person you want to collaborate with, that you have value, you are bringing value to the table, the other party is also bringing value to the table. It is not friendship that you are bringing to the table. No, what you are bringing is value on this side, value on this side as well, which both of you have agreed that when combined will be of benefit to both of you. Mr. X knows that by collaborating with Mr. Y, he's going to achieve more than if he had done it alone. Mr. Z or whatever also has that same opinion. So it is not your friendship that you are bringing to a table when you are talking of collaboration. It is value from both sides. And you have agreed that it is worth it. Now, that means that it is possible to collaborate with your worst rival. The person you are collaborating with does not have to be your friend. It may be a rival. It may be a hidden enemy even. And it could even be a declared enemy. There was a show that used to run on TV in the early days of TV. And this team worked so well that they got an award in America. But do you believe that there were two people who found it difficult to say good morning to one another? Now, what worked for them? Both of them realized that work is work. It is not friendship that we need here. It is value from you, value from me, combined to create a new quality thing. And because they had that realization, they jointly won an award, even when there were two people who never said good morning to one another. Is it the good morning you want or the award? So you've got to be very, very clear about that. Now, because of that, that is why the negotiation of your collaboration is very important. We have mentioned here again and again that there are certain things artists or creatives by nature do not do well. And I'll tell you quickly what those three things are. One is that they're not very good at protecting their intellectual property. They're also not good at negotiating contracts. And they're also not good at setting up business structures. Now, I need to clarify one thing here. When I say artists are not good at doing those things, if a lawyer, for example, becomes an artist, you know, expectedly, that lawyer should not have issue with contract. So what I mean is the pure artist that resides in you will never be able to do any of those three things. But it is possible that by some fluke, you also have something from the others. You could be coming from an accounting background or a business background. So in that case, you are not likely to have problem with setting up the business. You understand me? So what I'm talking about now is that we're talking of the pure artists, because typically he's too engrossed in his art to want to worry about those things, to even want to learn about those things. So it is a deficit that the average creative has. Nothing will ever change that. But we must not forget that a lawyer can become a creative, in which case that solves one part of his problem. And of course, if you are lucky, you could be bipolar in a very positive manner, able to balance things. We are talking of now of the pure artist. If you are the pure artist in you, will never be able to handle those three things. So what is the solution? You need collaborators in these areas. Do not deceive yourself. Don't try to do everything. You want to be the artist, the main act. You want to also be the business builder. You want to be the negotiator stroke contracts setup and copyright protector. No. Just complement yourself by locating collaborators in those areas. Now, the next thing is very important. You must reconcile yourself with the fact that if you are collaborating, it comes with a call to share the created value. I drew our attention to one thing earlier, that it is not about friendship. You are not, if it's friendship, we can go and do that in the restaurant or at the bar. But if we're going to be collaborating, you might as well be my enemy. What is of prime importance to me is that you bring value to the table. And now we have also agreed that our values combined creates a new level of value which neither of us could have achieved if we were working alone. And that is where negotiation becomes important. And one principle operates here. Some of us don't use lawyers because we look at how much they will earn from what we are doing. That should not be important to you. We are refusing to collaborate with somebody because, you know, you will make so much money from it. No. In my phone, I did a little bit, but let me try and restate it here. If the value you will have created on your own is designated as X, and the value that you and your collaborator will have created is designated as Y, please try to follow this. Then it is not important to you what your opponent or your collaborator will get from Y. I hope I'm not losing anybody here. What is important is that what you will get as a part of Y should be higher than your X, which you will have gotten if you are working alone. That is what is important to you, not any other thing. Let me put figure to it now. If you will have made 100,000 if you are working alone, now the fact that your collaborators will now take away 800,000 out of the 1 million that will result from your collaboration is not your business. No. What is your business is that you should get far higher than the 100,000 you will have made working alone. Okay? That is what makes that collaboration worth your while. Now, of course, there's the role of negotiation now, because there's a value that is floating above the value X brought and the value Y brought. It is negotiation that will now fix where the middle point will be. And that now is not of primary importance. I've said what is of primary importance. The value you will get from that collaboration should be significantly higher than the value you will have gotten if you are working alone. The final thing I want to say is that contracts are very important. Contracts are very important. And because creatives has this temptation to work with relationships and friendships, say, oh boy, you know now, do them for me. When we were working in the National Association of Nigerian Theatre Arts Practitioners and were encouraging artists to begin to do contracts, at the extreme, we had to tell them that, see, sign a contract, if need be. Because you are signing a contract with your cousin or your sister, sign a contract that says you have decided to do it for him free. Did you get that? You are not signing a contract because you want to take money from your sister or your cousin. You are signing a contract that says clearly that you have agreed that you will not be paid. But what does that do for everybody? It means that tomorrow, nobody can begin to say, but I thought, because all these boys, Shebina, me and you, It is actually premised on expectations that are not adequately expressed. You are hoping that if the guy makes 1 million, you can suddenly begin to ask him for 300,000. That will be avoided by writing a contract that says, well, if you make 100,000, then maybe you can at least give me 10,000. Or, well, I really don't care. I'm doing this because you are my friend. Put it in the contract. Please, lawyers, if I'm wrong here, tell me. Because a contract can say that much. You understand me? The other thing I'm also reminding us of is that consideration, what the lawyers call consideration, does not have to be money alone. When you are working, it is not money. The barrister yesterday mentioned something about popularity, about credit, and the truth that the creative values credit over and above money. You want a situation where this work is so tied to your name that anywhere you go to and you mention the fact that, they say, oh, were you part of so-and-so project? And because of that, they want to trust you with a bigger project. So finally, before we start the discussion, know this, that the contract is not a video recording of the negotiation. Did I say something to somebody? The contract is not a video recording of the negotiation. So you need to examine the contract very, very well. If you need others to look at it for you, like lawyers and all that, please do it. And like I mentioned earlier, if you need to pay them to do it, as long as you are not overpaying them, pay them. What do you want to be sure of? You want to be sure that everything that you agreed upon in the course of negotiating the collaboration indeed found their way into the contract as you expected them. In contracts, lawyers particularly draw attention to what they call small prints. When the other party wants to set a trap for you, that thing that they know that if it hits your attention, you are going to say no, they will still find a way of putting it in at the bottom of the contract in print sizes that will not attract your attention. But may the Lord help you. If one day controversy starts, they will go and show it to you, and maybe you will need glasses, even though you don't use glasses. You are going to need glasses to see that it was there. But you are going to lose your steam the moment you discover that indeed it was there and that the signature on that contract is indeed yours. I hope I've said enough. Thank you very much. Yes, sir. So, we're taking questions, okay?
Thank you very much, sir, for your very insightful workshop. I'm sure that we learned a lot, sir. Please sit. We have questions for you.
Okay.
We'll be able to take at least 1 or 2 questions. Okay, so please, if you have a question for Mr. Oladotun, show of hands, please. Show of hands. Show of hands. Any question?
There's one to the right there.
Okay. Lovely.
Yeah. It's on.
Thank you so much for such insightful teaching. I want to ask from the angle of a startup business owner who is also in the creative space and has a lot to do, but he's trying to play smart and, should I say, run a zero initial cash business where he's not spending
zero
initial cash business. What I mean is he's trying to set up a business where he's not investing too much capital because definitely he doesn't have much to start up now, but he has to start something. What are some other negotiation terms you could adopt to bring in expert into the business other than equity and other known considerations we could take? So what, from your vast knowledge in this aspect?
Okay, very straight off. It is in the nature of negotiation that you must make the other party feel that he's winning. Whatever it takes to make the other party in the negotiation feel that he's the winner, that is what you need. So it depends on who you are negotiating with. If what will excite that person is a promise of a share in your future income, then that is what you offer. If it is the offer of his credits will be above yours, then that is what you offer. So you need an understanding. I talked about an understanding of the industry, but you also need an understanding of who you are negotiating with at the moment. What will excite that person? And in offering that, are you offering just about enough? Are you offering what you can deliver, number one, and what you can afford to part with? And it will vary in accordance with who you are negotiating with. Yes.
Thank you very much for your question. Thank you very much, sir. Please, a round of applause as Mr. Olajuwon exits the stage. Thank you so much, sir. Insights like we've never seen before. Really, really grateful. Okay, so we're moving on to the next stage of today, of course, our agenda. The convener of this wonderful International Creative Summit is going to give his closing remarks. However, we are not closing because we're going to get a very, very special, never been seen before sort of concert and chat with Godfrey Gad, right? He's a gospel artist. You can see the hype already, so you know you don't want to miss that. Please, so I'm inviting a round of applause as we invite Pastor Shola Adesoye, the wonderful convener of the International Creative Summit. Thank you very much, sir.
Well, thank you, Sharon, and thank you all. You may be seated. These are my closing remarks. It does not mean, as we've heard, that this summit has come to an end. We still have a very important session that we are going to be hosting, and it's going to be really amazing. Let me give you good news, which is very, very definite. I spoke about a masterclass with Collins. Thank you so much for accepting to be here. The masterclass is going to be taking place 11th of October 2025, which is just about 3 weeks away. And it's going to be taking place here 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. So let's get the dates fixed. We're going to send out emails, to your contacts and also messages to your WhatsApp. And the theme for that masterclass is going to be embracing technology, deploying AI. It's going to be loaded. It's going to be solid. And thank you so much for accepting to come back. And as we keep going on, we're going to be trusting that we'll bring back some of our facilitators again. And I'm sure, Chuka, we'll be knocking on your door. Thank you for accepting, to be a part of this. Well, I want to, in closing, just thank everyone. My heart is full of gratitude, really. Over the past 2 days, we've shared knowledge, exchanged ideas, and ignited conversations that I believe will continue to echo far beyond these walls. When we began, we asked one central question: how can we unlock opportunities in the creative economy and build sustainable ventures from our God-given talents? Together, we've explored answers from multiple perspectives: artists, entrepreneurs, investors, policymakers, and thought leaders. We all have a shared conviction: creativity is not just passion, it is business, it is impact, and it is the future. In the last 2 days, we've gained a deeper understanding of the creative economy. We now see more clearly how the creative value chain works and how each stage from creation to consumption offers opportunity. outline practical strategies for monetization and sustainability, learning how to build structures, diversify revenue streams, and leverage digital tools to ensure our creativity is not just celebrated, but also rewarded. We've drawn inspiration from success stories, and we just heard from a Guinness Book World Record testimony from Brian. We were reminded that with vision, resilience, and excellence, it is possible to rise above limitations and to take Nigeria and African creativity to a global stage. We formed connections and collaborators. I mean, having our facilitators here, I'm looking forward to when we can all come into a room and just sit down and talk. Now I'm talking about me and them. You know, just talk, because it's exciting to see that we're on the same page, heading in the same direction, and making significant contributions to Nigerians, and especially Nigerian youths. And perhaps one of the most valuable outcomes is the relationships that we've built here. And I'm sure that every one of you has been able to build relationships as well. I've taken time to connect with a few people. At least I've seen Victor, I've seen David, Felicia, and all kinds of people here. Some names I can't remember totally, but I know that I've built connections here. I want you to remember that this summit cannot end here. And if all we take away are notes and good memories, then we've missed the point. The real measure of success will be what we build after today. The businesses we establish, the partnerships we forge, the policies we influence, and the lives we impact. I want to leave you with this encouragement. Your creativity is not small. It is a seed with the power to transform not only your life, but your community, your industry, and even your nation. But seeds only grow when they are planted and nurtured. So let us commit to planting what we have received here and nurturing it with discipline, excellence, and faith. Finally, I ask each one of you for collaboration. We cannot transform the creative economy in isolation. We need one another. Artists, entrepreneurs, investors, policymakers, educators, and faith leaders working hand in hand. Let's continue to build bridges, share knowledge, and open doors for the next generation of creatives. On behalf of the Lighthouse Initiative for Societal Impact and Development, I want to thank every speaker, facilitator, and especially I want to thank the Honorable Minister of Art, Culture, Tourism, and the Creative Economy, Barrister Hannatu Musa Musawa, for the excellent job she's doing, and also for speaking to us at this conference also yesterday. I want to thank Elijah Afi for being one of the contributors to us yesterday, Daniel Etim Efyong, Omotayo Inakoju, Oladotun Osunsoya. Thank you, sir, for not just being a veteran in the industry, but for just sharing your wisdom. And I've been tremendously impacted by it. And I know that you're still going to contribute to us in the future. Thank you for being a guide. Thank you for being with us. Collins Ajoye, we know we're having you back very, very soon. Chuka Xavier Obi, really great connecting with you. Brian Wana, he's away. Allen Chokote, Dike Chuku Merije, and Unduwait Ahanonu. And of course, Godfrey Gad, who is going to be coming up in a little while. I want to thank the members of the Mandate Group Arts and Entertainment, a part of the Lighthouse, led by Ross Oscar Adetunji, who really, I don't know what to say, but I know that all that has taken place here is your dream as a team, and you've brought it up together nicely and so excellently. There's been sleepless nights. There's been a lot of fireworks. There's been a lot of, issues here and there, but we want to thank God, and every one of you, thank you as well, because you've worked tirelessly to make the last couple of months, just worthwhile and to bring impact to people as we prepare to depart and prepare to have God come up. Let us go out and truly demonstrate that the business of creativity is the business of transformation. Thank you. God bless you. And see you at the next International Creatives Summit 2026. Thank you.
Very much to our convener, Pastor Shola Adesoye. Very great words you've spoken, sir, for all of us to reflect. Please, you may all be seated. Thank you very much. Well, it's the time you've all been waiting for. We have a very special guest that's coming up right now. He is a gospel artist, and I'm going to quickly read his bio, and then I'll call him up. Great. Godfrey Gad, popularly known as Gad. He's a young voice with a powerful message. Godfrey Gad is a gospel singer, rapper, and songwriter known for his hit song, Kabash. Okay. With his music, he's inspiring thousands and sharing the stage with some of the biggest names in gospel music, bringing a message of love, hope, and faith to his generation. Ladies and gentlemen, jam those hands as we call on Godfrey Gad. Thank you very much. You can just take a seat. I'm sure you're wondering, where's the music? Don't worry, we'll get to that. We just want to have, a quick chat with him. I'm asking some questions. He is an artist, so there's a lot he has to tell us that's very valuable. So I have 2 questions prepared for you, or 5, who knows. I'll start with my first question. How did you get into gospel music? Very, not everyone's you could be doing something else. But how did you get into gospel music, and what has been your experience so far?
Thank you so much for the question. It's an honor to be here. This is my house, so it feels a bit different doing this. But growing up in Kabbalah West, Kaduna State, if you are familiar with a place as such, you would understand it's like diamond coming from a death, here. So it was quite really challenging, trying to do gospel music from that part. I didn't even know that, there was anything like gospel or secular. When I started doing music, I was listening to Kendrick Lamar, Jay-Z, just listening to music and all of that until, grew to just understand, there's faith, and there's a message that you can pass through, music. And my challenge, well, if I was to be here earlier, there's a lot I would have loved to share, but I would just put it in few words. I did a concert last month. My first concert was in 2017. I did that in a kitchen. Yeah. Mommy Jessica from Lighthouse Kaduna, her kitchen in Sabo. I had 50 people, about 80 people. It was a ticket event, my first concert. I don't know who sent me, but I had to ticket it. A day to the event, there was no money to pay the DJ. There was a guy, my friend, his name is Conker. His dad gave him money to buy a laptop. And I told him, Conker, do you believe me? And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, can you give me this money? And he did.
Wow.
He gave me the money. It was about 20-something thousand, 23,000 thereabouts. And I paid the DJ, settled some stuff. And the day of the event, we had the event. And after the event, it was 500 naira that I took as transportation back home. The money that was the exact money that I collected from him, was over with just 500 naira. So I just gave him the money, and then I left. And then, fast forward, I did different concerts, different events. The most recent was last month. I hosted Giz Baba in Kaduna State.
Oh, lovely.
So I posted, of course, I've done, there's a whole series of, journey, but I just wanted to start from the beginning, coming to the end. I posted this event, and in 24 hours, I had over 3,000 registrations.
Wow.
Just one post.
Wow.
I made one post. To the point I had to, we had to close down the registration sites, because where would people enter? Everybody started asking, where are you going to put people and all of that? So I made another post, and we got to over 5,000 registrations.
Wow.
And I'm like, whoa. So we had to, really not do any publicity. But I'm like, there was a story I heard of somebody that wanted to, do something for somebody. And then when the person put out his ticket, he came and bought all of the tickets. And he was the only one at the event. And I'm like, what if it was, what if it's just one person that literally, bought all of this? The ticket was free, actually. What if it's one person that came and registered all of these using different... I'm like, it has not happened before. So on the day of the event, of course, we had an overflow. 1 hour to the event, the hall was already packed, everywhere. And what I wanted to use that was for content, so that, okay, now I'm in talks with First Bank I'm trying to do an event again next month with, with Minister Moses Bliss in same Kaduna State.
Wow.
Daddy, I'm sorry, this is the first time you're hearing this. I was coming to see you to share that. So now, when First Bank saw the clip from the crowd and everybody, they're ready now to end talks, and we're talking about some cool cash and stuff.
Okay.
So, by the grace of God, it's been really challenging, but I've put in a lot of work, studio projects, every time, putting in so much, of course, back end, royalty, we're getting, I don't want to, before people see me as if I'm rich. But, it's been challenging, but God has been helping. You have to just be persistent, and you just have to believe in yourself. When I started my first song, I paid 2,000 naira. When the guy saw me, he was like, where did you get 2,000 naira from? That was back then in 2014, 13. And he was like, because of how you came, I want to give you another session for free. And that was why he gave me another session for free, and I did. And from then, I've collaborated with, different people. I started this year with about, let's say, 6,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. But I was like, okay, I really need to do, so much to grow my Spotify, because if you go and check me, the place that you would only check an artist's progress and growth is when you go to Spotify. You want to check their monthly listeners and all of that. So, I'm like, I need to strategically do collaborations that would, run up those numbers. And again, I did a collaboration, talking about collaboration, I did a collaboration in last year that, talking about value now, the person is an upcoming artist, she doesn't have any listeners and stuff, so what will be the value exchange? I was like, okay, so what do I stand to gain from this collaboration? And she was like, okay, we're going to do, is $1,500 okay? And in my mind, I couldn't process that. I'm like, do you mean $150? And she was like, $1,500. And she's in the US, so you understand that, it's different. And I'm like, okay. if you check on Spotify now, you won't even see the song. It has like about maybe 10 streams or something, but value was money, and I had to do like a whole lot of other projects because of that money. Like $1,500 is over 2 million, you know. So I'm like, I've never had that. Who would give you? So, but I mean, I did a collaboration this year, and I was like, oh, I need to do strategic collaborations. So I got my friend Holy Drill, and Holy Drill has numbers. So one of the things about collaboration is that when you do collaboration as an artist, you know, stores already, like Spotify, already has like curated playlists. So there's what we call Spotify playlists. Those ones are Spotify, we call third-party playlists, which other people like curate just to have. So people that get into Spotify playlists, right? Once you are registered, like let's say a Moses Bliss now, he is on that, you know, a lot of playlists. If I feature a Moses Bliss and we pitch the song, it's going to appear on all of those playlists that he has been. Do you understand? So automatically, I am on those playlists. So I did that with Holy Drill. I repeated, you know, that same principle, because if principles can be repeated, results can be predicted.
Come on.
So I did that same principle again with Sounds of Salem. You know, we did that. We did another song again. And, you know, now I am over 40,000 monthly listeners.
Wow.
And, you know, we still have like a lot of projects, you know, coming and stuff. So that has, I mean, there's a whole lot. But that has been the experience so far.
Okay. Thank you very much for sharing your experience with us. I'm just going to ask this question. What advice do you have for anyone that wants to get into gospel music, especially as regards monetizing their work?
So, you know, there's a whole lot of misconception about monetizing, whether you should charge or you shouldn't charge, you know, as a gospel artist. You don't really have to charge. Trust me. If you're inviting me, you will do a background check on me. You will know. Now, let me just put this out. You want to invite a pastor now who doesn't charge. Go and invite him now. Do you understand? Go and organize the program and invite him. You know that you don't have like the capacity to, you know, host him already. You yourself, you won't do that. Do you understand? So, I mean, you don't have to put a price tag, or you don't have to. People, when you create value, people, it attracts, you know, the monetization part. But I mean, there's a lot of ways to make money beyond. One thing I just remembered is, at the course of this event, I just posted, oh, I want to wear your brand. Since 2019, I stopped buying clothes. Even this clothes was made for free.
Wow.
And I guess somebody just met me outside, and she brought a bag for me. I think she's just over there with 2 branded clothes from our brands. And, you know, I saw her in Kaduna. She met me in Kaduna after my concert, and she was like, please, like, I wanted to wear my clothes. And I just posted, okay, I just want to help somebody. Oh, I have a lot of engagements. Let me wear your clothes. Let's collaborate. Let me support, like, upcoming, you know, designers and stuff. And I had over 500 people reach out to me.
Wow.
And I'm like, where do I even start from? Between man and God, I have not checked those messages till date, because I don't even know where to start from. But I saw her, you know, I saw her message on Instagram, I saw her message on TikTok, and I'm like, I had to respond. I'm like, this is somebody that is passionate and, you know, understands collaboration, and she wants to do that with me. So, but then, a lot that you can do I'm trying to start my own clothing brand. Of course, if I build more value, merch, you're going to buy it. I think I wore clothes when I was in London last year. Somebody saw what I wore that I made from Nigeria. I don't buy clothes. Like 99% of my clothes are made for me. You don't see it anywhere. And that's just something I'm just trying to build, so that, you know, when I come to that merch, you know that what you are seeing, you know, it's just you that is going to get it. And, you know, it's me. I'm the first model of what I'm trying to, merge. So he saw me and he was like, okay, I like this jacket you're putting on. And I'm like, that time I didn't even think that I was going to, but I was like, okay, yeah, we can make it for you. It's my brand. It wasn't my brand, but because, this is the first time he's seeing it. And I'm like, it's my brand. We can send it to you.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, how much? I said, I was scared. But I said, $150. He said, okay. Can I get 3 for my...
Wow.
And I called the guy. There was somebody that was coming to the UK like the next, week. And I'm like, please, I'm going to pay you like $50. Can you make... I'm like... So, like, they got that and stuff. So, I mean, there's a lot of ways, you can make money, not necessarily just, putting a price. Oh, if you don't pay me $500K, I'm not going to come and stuff. But they pay me when I go. So,
thank you very much, Gad. You've underscored very important points about honing your craft and, pushing out value. The monetization will come. Well, you're a star. Most people came here because of you. Enough talk. Show us what you've got. Okay.
Amen. So I just want to share like a piece. I just hope, it inspires you at the end of the day. So when nails grow long, we cut it another fingers. Sometimes my feelings make me feel to pull the trigger on my head and blow it off. Nobody cares about me. Ready to change for some change, lately what I be thinking. Nobody is perfect, man. We all fall at times, depending on grace. The shame we despise. Why be the one to shoot me instead of bulletproof? We lose when we choose. Why not catch me when I'm falling? Everybody got his life. That's a silly excuse. Our size not the same. We can't wear the same shoes. Some fat, some slim. Some taller, some short. So much is needed from us. How comes we give and few? Success is like a ladder, one step to another. When patience with the strength and labor, we're pushing harder. If only together we go through the storm, we go conquer. Unlike Cain, we got to be our own brother's keeper. It's only one goal I'm trying to score. Why are you trying to be the keeper? Why isn't above limit grace making me to keep up? They say I'm going to stop, but man, I never did now. I started doing small at the place where I day now. See, you say that you like me, but don't show me love. Savage. Listen, you talk about me to people instead of God. Savage. See, you got your own plank while you pointing my dust. Savage. But we right off wrongs just to right wrongs. When others see others ahead of them, they start hating you ahead of them. Your back is what they see, so they stop. Forgetting that life has so many pathways to success. Yours never be mine. Mine never be yours. We might meet at the junction, but that shouldn't be bust up. We all got dreams and purpose. We got to focus. Helping one another to achieve them, and that's success. Not praying for one to fall so we can rise above them. I give deaf ears to people who talk against me. I got friends and family who always praying for me. Even when I do wrong, I still turn and do the right thing. Though sometimes it pains and tears in my EYEs. We got our own differences when misunderstanding comes. Will you understand? So many times they thought I've been losing. I do the opposite. I'm like time, nothing can ever stop me. Life is not fair. Watch me, I'ma bleach it. See, you say that you like me, but don't show me love. Savage. Yeah, you talk about me to people instead of God. Savage. See, you got your own plank. Why are you pointing his dust? Savage. We right off wrongs just to right wrongs. So when you give in excuses, you never win. It's all about choice. You're going to lose when you choose. Got me coming through like the Son of God when the sun shine, not shine. Everything possible, trying to stay alive. Forgot one life, then we die. Everything possible you can do. Remember, you never know till you try. Never be lazy. Stay woke. It's not everything money buys. The greatest tragedy in this life that we live in is not death, but a life living no purpose. Without Jesus Christ, man, you dead. If you dead, man, come alive. You don't live for something. You die for nothing. You don't stand for something. You fall for nothing. 2-for-7, man, is God. Because I'm dread. Satan thought he locked me up. I've been down so many times. I'm trying to push it up. I think I need another level, trying to level up. It's not about power, not about might. I got a spirit deep inside me. When you give in excuses, you never win. It's all about choice. You're going to lose when you choose. Of course, the devil tells you all day you're going to lose, but also you've got the power to rebuke him. Tell him at his face, I had nobody to give me no hope. My mama is living now. I was on the street, don't know how we're going to cope. Just surviving, trying to stay alive. When you fail to plan, planning to fail. You only lose when you quit from the game. You go through fire, feeling the pain. Don't understand this chapter, flip the page. I got a vision, I've been doing this. Mine on a mission, Jesus the mission. My united to the cross is the mission. Radicality, the pinnacle. I'll be rising, killing law of the gravity. Television, never vision. Last I'll be getting what a wow, better wow. So, is that 27 minutes? No, okay, I better go. This is not my concert. So, but then, let me just do this last one. So this week I'm expecting, are you expecting? So no dey darling, because better days are coming. Why you dey worry? Tell me, why you dey worry? From nothing to something, this week I'm expecting. As I have a God where they talk and do, God no go bobo you. Like say how your next week be, call me then, let me see what I can do. As I have a God where they talk and do, he no go bobo you. Like say how your next week be, call me then, let me see what I can do. Listen, my God is tested and trusted. Poverty is dusted, my swagger is anointed. When I show up, respected. Shut down, expected. Something huge, expected. When I show up, this week, my God, they give me. Listen, as the elected, now me God is elect. Me, I go dey shop for Dubai, I no go dey bend down the select. Now me be the righteous, I go dey making the right choice. See, my expectation no be bet Naija, cause nothing will fit cut down. As I have a God where they talk and do, God no go bobo you. Like say how your next week be, call me then, let me see what I can do. As I have a God where they talk and do, he no go bobo you. Like say how your next week be, call me then, let me see what I can do. Listen, Jesus is tested and trusted. Poverty is dusted, swagger is anointed. When you show down, respected. Shut down, expected. Something huge, expected. When you show up this week, God will give you something huge in Jesus' name.
Let's finish. They said I should go back. God, this is what you're doing.
He said it's going to jump.
Yeah, kabash. Let's kabash before we go, right? Let's kabash before we go.
Check. Let's go. Yeah. Kabash. It's your boy Godfrey G to the AD. Moses Bliss. For people when they do juju, God say we no go make a man. Them go no say power pass power. Only one power, no be one power. We go get kabash. We are taking over with a kabash. Mama, papa, come and see your kabash. We are taking over with a kabash. Sister, brother, come, we go get kabash.
on a long thing. Give me your ears, I'ma make I tell you something. Hey. To take over, you must cover.
But people, when they do juju, don't say you no go make calm, Them go no say power pass power. Oluwa power, no be man power. We go there.
What do you say after a lovely rendition as that? There's nothing more to add. Thankfully, we're closing for the day. Nobody has to go after that amazing performance. I want to thank everyone. I'll be starting with our sponsors. I won't say anything too long because the convener had already given a longer list. But I'll thank our sponsors, the Ministry of Arts, Culture and the Creative Economy, Stanbic IBTC Bank, yes, please clap, Tang Automobile, JC's Cakes and Sugar Craft, Lunchbox Cuisine, K Connect, Techet, Gyre Multimedia, the Fulcrum iLab, Brook Matrix Photography, and of course, the Lighthouse. Okay, yes, keep clapping. Thanks to our panelists, our keynote speakers, our workshop leaders, and of course, the organizers, the Lighthouse Initiative for Societal Impact and Development, their organizing committee. Thank you so much. Let us remember, and of course, to you, our well-meaning participants, there's no International Creative Summit without you. Thank you so much for coming and for participating. Let's remember, the creative economy is not just about profits, it's about purpose. It's not just about doing what you love, but doing things in a way that honors, uplifts, and upholds and builds for your legacy. Please follow us on our Instagram handles, your pictures, the selfies I asked for today with lovely captions, post them today and tag us at INTL_Creative Summit and at Lighthouse_INT. You can also check the website out for updates, www.intcreativesummit.com. It's been a wonderful 2 days. I cannot wait to see you next year. As always, my name is Sharon Omorigi, and it has been a pleasure anchoring today's session. Please network, 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 dance, dance, dance. See you next year. Thank you. My wig.